Hey guys, Ross here from Warrior Trading. Time for another edition of Snack Time with Ross. We're going to get started here with a little bit of guacamole. Now, this is one of my favorite snacks. So I'm just going to go ahead and have the avocado. Pop out the center, just put that aside. And then what I do is, I've got this really unique method. I've never heard of anyone else using this. I use a spoon, just like this, which is so fast and so easy. I go like that, I go like that, and then I'm going to take this to the next level in 1 second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of salt. That's my secret ingredient. Just a little bit of salt. Alright? That's Himalayan sea salt. Now, mashing up the avocado is probably one of the most challenging things. When you use a spoon, it kind of goes from one side to the other. So I actually use a knife. I go like this. I try to keep my thumbs out of the way. Keep your thumbs out of the way at all times. I go like this, I go like this. Basically just repeatedly stabbing the avocado, destroying it. And what you're going to notice is that very quickly it turns into a mash. And that's exactly what we want. Okay, now at this point, I can go ahead and add a little bit of seasoning, some pepper, some tomatoes even if I want to, and this is really pretty much ready to go. So I'm going to jump in. We're going to have a snack time with Ross, and we're going to go over my trades for the month of August. All right, guys, let's get started. All right, guys, so what we're going to do today is an August recap. So we're actually going to go over the trades from August, some of the highlights, some of the best trades, some of the worst trades, and we're going to look at my stats, my accuracy, my profit-loss ratio, the number of shares I was trading, and my average share size for the month. I wanted to wait to do this here. It's the 7th because I wanted to make sure I got my statement for the month of August. So what I'm going to do here is log in. This is the Stock USA website. All right, so this is where I log in, and it's where I can pull all of my statements and tax stuff and that kind of thing. So right now I've got a $55,000 balance. This is my starting balance here this morning. I'm up 11.21 today, so that'll be around 56,000 tomorrow. So we'll go over here to online documents, and what I'm going to do is click statements, and I'm just going to download here my August 31st statement. Okay, so here we go. We'll start with page 1. So this was my ending balance, I guess somewhere around here, 51,000. I did a wire transfer. Right now I'm up $15,824 already on the month of September, which is fantastic. And I do take out money on a pretty much regular basis. So for the month of August, I finished with $29,100.07, which put me up $143,000 on the year. So now plus 15,000, I'm getting close to 160,000 on the year, kind of, getting myself edging closer towards 200,000, which I'm hoping to be able to get to by December. I've still got a couple months left. But in any case, August finished as a pretty strong month. Now, I thought August was actually going to have the potential to be a record breaker. $34,000 is the best month that I've ever had. And I did that in June. July was 32,000. And then August, 29,000. The frustrating thing is that in the first 2 weeks of August, I actually made $22,000. So I made the majority of my profits in those first 2 weeks with 2 single days that were both over $10,000 in gains. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to continue that type of momentum through the rest of the month. The third week of the month, I made $5,200. The fourth week, I lost $400. And then on the fifth week, which was only a 3-day week, I made about $2,700. So I kind of petered out as we got towards the end of the month, which was, not really obviously what I was aiming for, but it's just one of those things. You do what you can. So things slowed down for me at the end of the month, but overall, I still finished, with nearly $30,000, which I was really pleased with. I'll close this down here. So we'll go over here that $29,000 in total profits. And just from the summer, June, July, August, $90,000 in gains, which is really fantastic. That was, for me, just a really awesome summer. And usually the summer is pretty slow, so it was really exciting to be so productive during a typically slow season. Now, as we move into September, I was again excited because I usually do really well in September, October, November, as we kind of are into the fall and into the school year. So now being up actually $18,000 in the last 5 trading days, including the last day of August, and being up $15,000 in the month of September already, I am well on my way to potentially having a record-breaking month. But like last month, things could slow down, and if they do, I need to adjust my size accordingly, scale back, and sit tight. Part of the deal with trading is that there will be some weeks where you make $10,000, and other weeks where there are just no good opportunities, and so you can either swing as hard as you can at bad setups, or you sit on your hands. You kind of take shelter through the storm, and then when things are better, you increase the size again. So to go over my trades for the month of August, in total, I did about 103 trades. Now, that's over, the month of August was actually a little bit of a longer month. We had, 23 trading days in the month of August, which was really good. So 103 divided by 20. 103 trades divided by 23. I mean, it's like 4.47 trades per day average. And I try to limit myself to not more than 5 trades. Although when I'm having a good day, I will be a little more aggressive, and sometimes I do take 6 or 7 trades on a good day. And then on a slow day like today, I only take 1 trade. Now, today is actually my 14th consecutive winning trade. I haven't had a losing trade since last Tuesday, about a week ago. And that's because I'm only trading, 3 to 4 times a day. I'm focusing on the best quality setups, and that means I trade the best and I leave the rest. That greatly increases my accuracy, and it means that, if I do have a loss, usually I can stop out pretty quickly because it was a go-to setup that looked really good. It just didn't work out quite the way I thought, so I can bail out pretty fast. When you start taking stabs at lots of different setups, you can get yourself in the situation of just taking loss after loss, and slippage, when you're selling on the bid, just gets worse. Those were, by the way, 103 total trades, not round trips, not executions. That would be much higher. My accuracy during the month was 66%, and I traded with a 1.44 to 1 profit-loss ratio. My average winners were 42 cents. My average losers were 29 cents. So the winners being bigger than the losers is something that we always want to see for our students. One of the things that we do, of course, with our students is that we put you on the simulator. Now, this right here is the Fantasy Stock Trader Simulator. And what we want to see is that while you're trading on the simulator, that you meet the certain metrics required to be a profitable trader. That means you need to have at minimum a 1-to-1 profit-loss ratio, meaning your winners are bigger than your losers. And you need to have a minimum of really 55 to 60% success. Anything lower than that, it's going to be hard to break even. So for me, on the month of August, trading with a 1.4 to 1 profit-loss ratio and 66% success, I was able to generate $29,000 in total gains, which was a solid month for sure. My average share size was 4,968 shares. So trading with somewhat larger size. If I look here, I'm going to grab my other computer where I've got my Excel. So if I look here at the month of July, for instance, we'll just check share size for the month of July to compare. Month of July, the average share size was 3,600 shares. So I increased share size a little bit. I was being a little bit more aggressive, definitely taking some larger positions, and I would say that did pay off. All right, now if we look at, I use this table here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort my trades by net gain, net loss. So basically what I want to see are my biggest winners on the month and my biggest losers. All right, and we can kind of analyze those trades in a little bit more detail. So biggest single trade winner, I had the top three were MPET, MPET. This was an $11,753 winner. I traded this on this day in August, right here on the day that it went from $1.70 up to $5. This day we had 7.5 million shares of volume. It was a gapper, as you can see, and it was a gap and go setup. Second biggest trade was LEDS. This one was a $6,860 winner, and you can see here, I believe that was on this day here where we got this big spike from 578 up to 814. I did trade it several times, but I'm pretty sure this was the day that I had the big win. And then the third biggest winner was SAEX. This was a $3,180 winner with 200 shares. It's true, 200 shares. Absolutely unbelievable. I made 15 points per share. This was on the day where we opened at 48. I got long at 48 and it squeezed up to a high of $72, which was just crazy. So that was right here, actually went as high as $75. This was a simple follow-through setup, entering for the break of yesterday's high. And I know a lot of you guys traded that as well and did a great job on it. We'll also do some Q&A at the end of this recap, so you guys can stay tuned for that and think of some questions to ask me. So those were my three biggest winners. The SAEX trade, a little bit of an unusual one, but a good winner nonetheless. I had a couple other good trades on MPET, SHIP, SITO, SPU, CONE, OBCI, LEI, OPTT, MCUR. All of those trades were well over $1,000 in gains. In fact, my top 19 biggest winners produced a combined profit of $48,000 in gains. All of my winners in total produced $64,000 in profit, which is good. Commissions, of course, and losses amounted to $34,000. Now, that's really in contrast to the month I had in June, where I made $48,000 in profit, and I had only $12,000 in losses. So my losses in the month of August were larger. My three biggest losses: SHIP, KPTI, and SAEX. I traded SAEX on the first day of the run with 750 shares, and I lost $3,400. I got in that right here in anticipation for the break of $30. Got long right around here. We popped up and then we came all the way back down. And just in these two candles, you can see we went from $30 all the way down to $24 per share. I mean, it was a brutal drop. And I got in a little too high on a stock that's a little outside my go-to price range. Share size was a little too big, and before I knew it, I was down 3 points. And then I just kind of watched it and was thinking about, trying to get in on the next move up or, hold through that, and it just didn't work out. Ended up taking a good size loss on that. The second biggest loss was KPTI. This was just last week. a very frustrating trade. I jumped in this with 5,000 shares at $9. And it had already squeezed up a little bit. I think I had a little fear of missing out on this one. Let's see, where was that? That was last week. It was right, yeah, it was right in here. I chased it. I should have gotten in way, way earlier. I ended up chasing it and then selling in this candle as we dropped down. I lost like 70 cents per share with 5,000 shares, and it was a $3,500 loss, which was extremely disappointing. You know, that was very frustrating, and I was right at the end of the month, and I wanted to have a big winner, and I was being aggressive. I didn't stop out fast when I was down like $1,000, even though I certainly could have. And, you know, next thing I knew, I was down quite a bit more. And then the biggest loss of the month was on SHIP. This was a $7,000 loss. This was a really bad one. Again, I chased this, just way chased it. Now, here's the thing with trading, you know, especially with momentum trading. A lot of times we are buying stocks that are high and selling them higher. So it's not uncommon to buy a stock that's already extended. It's just about finding that sort of happy medium where you can feel okay about buying a stock that's extended and think that you still have enough profit potential, but that your risk isn't too high. And on this one, I was very frustrated because I was watching it here, down here at $4. And actually, this is a common denominator among these three trades, is that on all three, I was frustrated. All three of them, I was feeling annoyed. I was annoyed on this one because I wanted to get in at 380 for the $4 break. And next thing I know, I missed it and it popped up to 511. And I was thinking, oh my God, that's like $6,000 or 6,000 shares gone. And then I get in at 550. I actually got in at 550 and I rode it up to a high of $7 or something like that and sold. I made about $3,500. And then I added back at around 750. And that's what killed me. I added back at 750, and you can see in this one candle, we went from a high of 752 to a low of 625, and I had to throw in the towel. So I went from being up 3,000 on the name to down 3,500 on the name with that winner and then the loss back to back. So, you know, I obviously very, very frustrating day to go from being up big, $3,000 profit, to being down 3,500. That's one of the most frustrating things that any trader can have happen to them. And of course, it put me below my max loss, so I was done trading for the rest of the day. That day was actually the Tuesday, August 2nd. It was the very beginning of the month. You know, just jumping in here, and I was really frustrated with myself. Now, again, like I said, this was a trade where I missed my good entry and then I chased it. Fear of missing out. That emotional response kind of influencing my trading. KPTI, missed it at $8. I chased it at $9. That fear of missing out. SAEX, I missed it at 15. I missed it at 16. I missed it at 18. I missed it at 20. I missed it at 25. And I finally got in at 30. Fear of missing out. Lost $3,000. And the notes that I put on those three trades, you know, was I chased it. I chased it. I chased it. I was emotional. I was frustrated. And then I bought too high. So this goes to show, you know, even a trader with, you know, years of experience can fall, you know, victim to the emotional frustration and to emotional trading. Those three trades cost me $15,000. So if I, in the month of September here, can minimize the drawdown from losses like that, that could make a world of difference. The fact that I made $64,000 in profits in August, but I was only able to keep $29,000 of it, is a little disappointing. $29,000 in 1 month is still a great month, and I'd like to think that some of our students who I know did better than I did last month managed to avoid getting into the emotional trading that I got into. But, you know, for anyone that did fall into that same pattern, just know that I'm with you. I know how it feels. I've done the same thing, even as recently as this month or last month.
and it's something that we all struggle with from time to time. So the best thing that I can suggest, again, I mean, and I say this to myself as much as to anyone else, focus on the first and second pullback only. If you can't print out that chart and say this was a solid entry, looking at it 2 days later, then you shouldn't take the trade. If you can't print out the chart and send it to me and have me review it during class and say, yeah, that was a good setup, you shouldn't be taking the trade. You need to take the best quality setups. And sometimes you're going to have stocks like SHIP that run, 100% and you miss it. But you know what? That's a lot better than being the guy that lost $3,000 on the stock that ran 100%. Because that's what happens when you make, when you make these kind of mistakes and you get aggressive. Now, I can be aggressive and make good decisions when I'm not being emotional and when I'm not allowing the fear of missing out to dictate what stocks I'm going to trade. So, that's why generally being aggressive for me works out well, because I have pretty good instincts about what's going to run and what's not going to run. But when I get emotional, those, kind of common sense can go out the window. All right, so a good reminder here for me and for you guys, hopefully to learn by example. I'm going to do the best I can in September to minimize the drawdown. Now, with that said, I'm on my 14th consecutive green trade, 5th consecutive green day. My longest green day hot streak was actually over 50 days last year. So, being 5 days into a green streak doesn't mean a lot, but I have to anticipate that at some point within the next day or two, I'll probably have a red trade. And I'd sure like it if that wasn't with 10,000 shares, right? Because 30 cents is $3,000 with 10,000 shares. So I need to start reducing my share size a little bit, I think, as we go into Thursday and Friday, the rest of this week. Just, especially because of the fact that today I only took one trade. There was only one trade that met my criteria for being a good setup. So things felt slow today. And even though I was aggressive with that one trade, it didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. In fact, none of my trades this week have worked out exactly the way I wanted them to. The good news is, despite that, I've still made $15,000 in the month of September. If any of those trades had gone in my favor, like HPJ last week on Friday, I got into that with 18,000 shares. We squeezed up about 50 cents, and I was up, $8,000, $9,000. I didn't sell it because I thought this had the potential of maybe going a full point. If it had, that would have been an $18,000 winner in about 15 minutes. Now, I ended up stopping out with a profit of $4,500, which was really good, and I was happy with that. But I did let it ride because I wanted it. I thought it had the potential to do more. If I keep stepping up to the plate and swinging, eventually I will connect, and one of these will give me the full point, with full size. It's just a matter of time. Trading the best setups, it's only a matter of time. If I start taking big size on poor quality setups, the losses are going to add up really quickly. So less is more. And, for all of you guys that were in the chat room in June when I first started this kind of challenge, earlier in the year, I went through kind of that frustration of having some really good months and then some really bad months. And I felt like I was trying to trade a lot to produce kind of content for students, because I felt like, I should be trading all day long and students want more content. The problem is I kept giving back profits. I'd have a good morning and then I'd give back money in the afternoon. I'd go into the red. So one month I'd be up 19,000, and then the next month I'd be up only 4,000. So starting in June, I said, you know what? I need to get focused on trading only the best quality setups, trading less, but only trading the best. Now, when that started, I got a lot of feedback from students who said, this is great. I love that you're only trading 3 to 4 times a day, because I know each trade you take, you've got a lot of conviction in. You're not taking anything that's not a strong setup. And that allowed students to really learn more from the type of setups I would trade. When someone's taking 10, 15 trades a day, sometimes it's hard to understand why trades are being taken. Sometimes they're just kind of, it becomes a little blurry about what is a good setup and what's just kind of so-so. For me, focusing on the best has really improved my trading a lot. in the last few months, and I'm excited for that. And the students who are in our classes and of course in the chat room, you all have given me feedback that you're really happy with this as well. So focusing on a few trades in the morning, hitting the daily goal by 11:30, doing the lunchtime recap, and then in the afternoon working with students. That's my routine right now, and I really enjoy it. And I've been feeling a lot more confident because, even only 66% accuracy, I mean, I still feel like that's pretty good. Sure, 75% would be awesome, but 66, 70%, I mean, those are good numbers. And the profits that I'm making, it is a confidence booster. You really only need to take one good trade a day to hit your daily goal if you're doing it right. So that's what I would encourage, is that students focus on the best quality setups, especially if you're struggling with accuracy. If you're in the 30, 40% success rate or 50% success rate and you're trying to bump it up to 60, 65, you need to focus on trading better quality setups. It does take time to be able to recognize those patterns in real time. I remember for the longest time when I would look at charts, I felt like I was reading a foreign language or trying to read sheet music or something. It just didn't connect. I wasn't able to see. But now everything has become clear. You adjust the lens and suddenly I can see the patterns. I can see the bull flags, the flat top breakouts. It's kind of like those magic eye paintings where nothing's there and then suddenly it's there and you see it all, and now you can really get going. All right, so I hope this is helpful. This is the August recap. Let's move in here to do some Q&A, answer some questions that you guys have. We'll obviously get this posted up on YouTube a little bit later. I'm gonna have to edit out my account numbers and stuff like that, but we'll get that uploaded shortly. So let's see. If you put a Q by the question mark, then I'll be able to definitely see that you've got a question. Just looking at students here in the chat room. A question about the computer. Now, for me, I use 3 laptops. This is overkill. This is not necessary for every day trader. But not only am I day trading on one laptop, I'm also running a chat room, with 2,000 people on the other laptop. So I'm live broadcasting. That is a real bog on my system to live broadcast every day. So the platform that I'm live broadcasting on runs charts, scanners, and the chat room. My second laptop runs Speed Trader, and I'm also running charting on that platform for recordings and for students and stuff like that. My third laptop is like email, social media, and that sort of thing. But all 3 are Lenovo brand. I like Lenovo's. They're used in a lot of doctor's offices. They're really reliable. I've been super happy with them. These are Lenovo Y50s, solid state hard drive, as much RAM as I could get. I don't know if it's 16 or 32 gigs, but a lot of RAM. They're all hardwired into my modem, so no Wi-Fi, and they're great. They really perform well. I've been very happy with them. I think they're around like $1,600 each. So, Nor, that's a great question. And I've had people ask this before, how do I accumulate large positions? Well, yesterday or the other day on HPJ, I was just using my hotkey to buy 2,500 shares. So each order that I send is 2,500 shares. And I had to press it a few times in order to get myself up to 18,000 shares. I think 18,000, it was an odd number. I think I got a partial fill there up at the top. I don't know what it was. I'd have to go back and look. But 18,550 or something like that. So I did the same thing yesterday on SORL. Same thing on BXC, starting with, I built myself up to a 15,000 share position on SORL. That was adding 2,500 shares at a time. I don't like to go, I never go full size. Like I always add in small increments. Now, for our students that are with Speed Trader, you guys have discounted rate of $295 per trade. For the Warrior Pro students, ridiculously low commissions. So yes, do commissions add up? They do. I'm at $77 today, but when you make $29,000 in a month, commissions are just part of the deal, and try not to worry about it. Edward, you asked, what are my top 10 patterns? Well, we have 8 that we teach in the classes, and I would say the top 3 would be the bull flag. That's my favorite by far, and that's the one that I have probably the most examples of. The bull flag breakout, and then the second would be a flat top breakout. So a bull flag gives you a couple candles of pullback, whereas a flat top is just consolidating right underneath high of day. Both are really strong setups. I kind of like the bull flag a little bit more because of the way you get that pullback. It makes you feel like an entry is just a little bit safer. Flat top breakout consolidating right underneath the high sometimes feels a little bit risky. I'm going to pull up an image here that you guys can look at. This is one of the ones we use in the class. HMNY, bull flag 1, bull flag 2, kind of bull flag 3. This is basically my go-to pattern. I like the consolidation over to the moving average. That flagging pattern is just my favorite. So, and the thing is, it's my favorite because it resolves the best. And why do patterns resolve? They resolve because thousands of other traders recognize this as a buying opportunity. This is an opportunity to get into a strong stock with a very low amount of risk, a very tight stop. That's why you see all the volume coming in. Volume is people buying shares or people covering up their shorts. All right, so that's why you get that big resolution, because other traders, hundreds of thousands of them, recognize this as a strong opportunity. So, the market really does have this sort of collective mentality. If people think that a stock is going to run, it's probably going to run. It's the fact that people are looking at it as a buying opportunity, seeing the opportunity, and then buying that makes it go up. So that's the reason I focus on trading the stocks that I think will have the highest relative volume. Relative, of course, is, relative volume is different for every stock, but what's high relative to this one stock is what I would be interested in following and trying to trade, because I know that means tons of traders are going to be looking at this stock. So many traders use high relative volume scanners looking for those stocks that have the potential to make the big moves. When I was a beginner trader, one of the things I discovered, and we talk about this in the webinar, is that almost every single day there's a stock, and sometimes several, that move 20 to 30%. The trick is finding that stock before it makes the big move. And high relative volume is a really good indicator of a stock that has the potential to make that kind of big move. All right, so, I don't know. So the flat top breakout, the bull flag, the third one, maybe the red to green move or micro pullbacks, those are all good setups. Reversals are okay as well if you like that type of strategy. It's a little bit slower moving. So yeah, Morgan, you could start by watching just one stock at a time. The way my monitors are set up right now, I've got one on the screen share, one stock on the screen share, and then I have 2 stocks on each monitor. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 total charts that I'm looking at. And each of those include the 1 minute, 5 minute, and the daily. So I'm watching 8 stocks at once. Now I'm also watching the SPY, just to give myself a little bit of, big picture. Watching that many at once is not very realistic, but it allows me to kind of keep them on watch, and I can glance over and see if something's happening. If there is, I'll look, maybe at taking a trade. But if I only had one chart up, which is sometimes what I do when I'm traveling, I do feel a little lost. I feel like I'm kind of having tunnel vision. And what helps with that, avoiding that, is just using the scanners. So anytime something pops up here, I'll just pull it up. So maybe just watching 2 at once. You've got one that you're watching, and then the second chart is flipping through charts that are stocks that are showing up on the scanners. Nathan, great question about stops. How do I use them? And also a question there about the order types. So I always use limit orders. Now my limit orders are with a 5 cent offset. So if we go in here to the Fantasy Stock Trader platform, A 5-cent offset means if I want to buy SPY right now at 218.35 being the ask, my 5-cent offset would send the order at 240 or 242. It'll always be 5 cents higher than the ask. And that means as soon as I press this order, it's going to fill as though it's a market order. It'll fill instantly, but it won't give me anything higher than this limit price. Whereas a market order will fill at any price. The risk there, of course, with a stock like SHIP that has the potential to move, a point in 1 minute is that using a market order, if there's maybe a little bit of a delay, let's say your connection just drops for a second, you send the order, the connection drops, it comes back up, the order goes through, and you execute 80 cents higher than you were planning on it. I mean, that totally ruins your risk-reward ratio. So I use limit orders to control that. Once I'm in a trade, I don't set a stop. What I do instead is I have my hand hovering over the bailout key, which is Control Z. When I press Control Z, I will send a limit order to sell my entire position 10 cents below the bid. So if my entire position is 1,000 shares, the order will go for 1,000. If it's 1,000, if it's 100,000, 300, whatever shares, it's going to go through at that amount. It's going to calculate my current position and use the position as the amount of the order. So that means I don't have to do the work. That's awesome, right? I don't have to type in, 847 shares or whatever my partial order might be. Now, I can do the same thing when I'm in a trade that's going my way. I can sell on the ask, and I just press Control K and Control L. Control L is to add liquidity. So Control L will add liquidity by selling my shares up on the ask. It's something you guys don't really have to worry about right now. If you're trading larger size, adding liquidity does help reduce your ECN fees. But in any case, Control L will sell my shares on the ask. Control K is full size, Control L is half size, Control semicolon is quarter size. And that'll allow me to scale out on the ask. So usually when a stock is strong, as soon as I'm up, 20 cents, I'll either sell half on the ask or I'll sell half on the bid. If we have a good bid, I can hit the bid. But if we've got lots of buyers, I can sell on the ask. Either way is fine. I just based it on the strength of the stock, my position size, the spread, the float, and stuff like that. 10 cents below the bid for me isn't too much because the thing is it's always going to hit the bid right here. So if there's a bid right here at 43, I'm going to be out at 43. But if the stock suddenly drops 8 cents, I will still get out. If it suddenly drops 20 cents, I might not. But I'm not going to lose 10 cents just because my order is below the bid. It's still going to give me the best price, just like a market order would. And the other reason that I don't use stops is because you can't cross your orders. So if you have a stop out to sell shares and then you try to put another order out to sell shares, if the stock's not shortable, the order will get rejected. So now you've got to cancel your stop order before you can scale out on the ask. So it's like as soon as you get in and set your stop, if it pops up 20, 30 cents, now you got to cancel the stop, it's just an extra step that I don't need. All right, so if you guys have other questions or folks that are watching the recording, if you think of questions, you can, of course, email me, ross@warriortrading.com. I'd love to hear how you guys did in August. August was a great month for me so far. September is in 6 days, 4 trading days. I'm actually up half as much as I was in, 23 days last month. So we'll see what I can do here. I don't expect to continue to make, an average of whatever it is, $4,000 a day or $3,000 a day. I'm sure that it will slow down, and I just have to be able to adapt to the market. So when the market is choppy and it's not on my side, I throw in the towel. I take shelter in the storm. I don't want to get myself beaten up by trying to trade through really difficult markets. Okay, so again, I hope this answers some questions, and we'll get this posted on YouTube and on the website. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.